0-4. No takeaways on defense. It's a whole new level of ineptitude. And guess what? Only 13 more games to go. Jet fans, I don't know how we do it. I don't know how we're going to keep on doing it. Nope, we're going to keep on doing it because we don't know any other way. We're going to get into the New York Jets. We got a whole lot of stuff to get into tonight. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is that time. It's Wednesday night. It's 6 p.m. and we are live. Welcome everybody to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watsu K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to join me as part of your week. I appreciate everybody's support, everyone taking the time. Whether you're watching live or watching on delay, you are appreciated. Want you to know that. I'm doing what I can and not talk about the Jets for just a few minutes. I hope everybody's having a great week. I'm going to start by giving a couple of shout-outs to the chat. I see the chat's already starting to fill up a little bit. The great Tony Alexio is first in line. Welcome all suffering Jets fans. Tony, all you have to say is welcome all Jet fans, and we're automatically suffering. You can't have – it's like love and marriage. You can't have one without the other. Well, like the song says anyway. But if you're a Jet fan, God knows you're suffering. But, Tony, I'm always glad when you stop by. Grandizer, Baba Booey to you, Adam, and your wonderful viewers. Baba Booey right back to the great Grandizer. David D, good evening. David, are you excited about your Islanders? Hockey season's only a week away, and I'm glad because God knows I need something else to talk about. Oh, boy. I will be doing preview videos for the Rangers, the Islanders, and the Devils. Watch for those to drop over the next couple of days. So I will be fair to each team. Not going to combine the videos. I want to give each team separate attention, treat them right, because I think all three teams actually deserve it. Tony Alexio is about the biggest anti-Chris Spielman Rick Spielman fan I've ever seen. What is he besides getting a paycheck? We don't know. We're not in the front office. We have no idea what's going on. But Tony, if our biggest issue was Spielman, I'd be very relieved right now. But again, hey, when it comes to the draft, I'm not too upset about the draft right now. So, yeah, I'm not ready to freak out right now. But hey, he's consulting, so who knows how much his opinion matters. David D's ready for the Islander. Okay, yeah. Hey, I think the team should be a little bit better this year. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I think they got a few more interesting pieces. I think they're deeper than they were in past years. I'll let that be my little tease. All right, guys, we got to get into a few things. Before we get into the Jets, let's talk about what's on my mind in a little bit of what we like to call three and out. We're going to take three stories from around New York sports before we get into the main content. I'm actually going to combine number one, the New York Mets and the Ryder Cup. They both suck. Number two, the New York Yankees. They are about to play game 2 against Boston. They dropped game 1 of the best of 3 series 3-1. I don't think there's any question Max Fried was pulled too soon. I mean, 1 out in the 7th inning, nobody on. The 8 and 9 hitters are coming up. The Yankees are up 1-0, and Aaron Boone pulls Max Fried to bring in the just immortal Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver, who this year has made Ryan Stanek almost look like a credible MLB pitcher. I said almost. But what happens? A walk, a double, a single. It's 2-1 Red Sox, and that was all they needed. Garrett Crochet, that might be the ace that the Mets let get away in all seriousness. Retired 17 straight at one point, but the Yankees, hey, they had a late rally. Bases loaded, nobody out, down 1. And what happens? Giancarlo, strikeout. Jazz Chisholm, who's pinch hitting, strikeout. Trent Grisham, strikeout. And that was it. So now, I got to tell you, I don't really like these best of 3 series. I know it worked out for the Mets last year. Okay, I know it did. But I just think when you have a 162-game season, 3 games is just too short. I honestly think it's it's better to just do the 1 game. I like the 5-team setup more because it placed emphasis on winning your division. because you can't leave these teams with byes. You can't give them too much time off. That's the thing. It's weird. Somehow I like the one-game playoff for the wild card better than I do a best-of-3 series. Like a best-of-3, it's like go short or go long, but, you've got to, but stop with this lukewarm thing. It just doesn't work for me. So, but I think eventually baseball will expand the playoffs and it'll be 8 teams in each, 16 teams total, because I don't think there's going to be an American League and a National League in a couple of years. So, to me, I think we're going to wind up seeing 16 teams is where that's going to go. And as far as the New York Giants go, hey, you know what? Credit to them. They won a game. New York football has a victory. If there's any Buffalo Bill fans here, shut up. You don't count. You're Canada. That's not really New York, as we all know. So please just get off your high horse. But they beat a Chargers team that just played terribly. I mean, the Chargers were down to their third-string left tackle, and people really need to settle down over Jackson Dart. I mean, come on. What was so great about the Giants passing game? Where was the great play that he made? Because I never saw one. Okay, yes, he could run. He ran for over 50 yards, ran for a touchdown, nearly got a concussion as a result, and hurt his hamstring. Jackson Dart is reckless with his body. He's like Zach Wilson, except he's actually good. Okay, and now he's lost Malik Neighbors, his best receiver by far. Don't tell me about Theo Johnson, and don't tell me about Jalen Hyatt, and don't tell me about Wandale Butterfingers Robinson. All right, the Giants are going to be in a lot of trouble without Neighbors. Now, defensive line looked very good. 5 hits by Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, 4 hits and a sack. He looks excellent to start the season. But the Giants, if they want to have any kind of a relevant season, they better head down to the Big Easy and beat New Orleans, because after that, the gauntlet starts. Philly, Detroit, and on it's going to go. Kansas City, they saw the Chargers. Denver coming up in Denver. It is going to be brutal for them coming up. They better beat New Orleans if they want to have any kind of a relevant season. All right, so yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on all that stuff, but a few things had to be accounted for, and I just figured I'd eliminate the Mets and the Ryder Cup in one shot. This was one of the worst 48-hour stretches of sports in my life, between the Ryder Cup, the Mets, and the Jets. It's hard for it to get much worse than it actually did. All right, everybody. So I'll tell you what. Let's just go ahead and I don't know. I don't know if we got a chant in us. I don't know. What else can I say about the Jets? I think Greg Giannotti said it well.
This is the New York Jets, where careers come to die and the worst memories of your life are born.
Aaron Glenn knows exactly what it's all about. Steve Wilkes knows exactly what it's all about. Darren Muji knows exactly what it's all about. I just don't think I have a chant in me right now, guys. Not right now. And Tony Alexiou's going to, I'm going to get into Braylon in a little bit. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I will get into that in just a few minutes. Put it this way. Whoever's responsible, I don't think anybody is going to want to admit that they're responsible for it. So let's just recap this just disaster of a game 4. Look, there's the SoundCloud rapper getting the touchdown. Grandizer wants to know if we're going to spin the wheel. Hey, guys, if you want to spin the wheel, hit that thumbs up button. 15 likes. We spin the wheel at the end of the show. It's been a little while since we've done it. So, yeah, I could use a little pick-me-up. So if you want to spin the wheel, hey, you got to hit the thumbs up. Let some people know. I've already done my part. So those are the rules. But we get into this game here. And I got to admit, going into this game, I didn't have a lot of optimism. I have not picked the Jets to win a single game this season. And you can see why. But early on that running game, it was really effective. Now, Miami scores on the first drive of the game. They get a field goal. They converted 2 third downs, but the Jets made them stop. Okay, fine. But the running game is looking so effective. They are blowing holes up the middle for Breece, for Braylon. I mean, Braylon looked great on that first drive. It looked like the Pittsburgh game to start the season. That's how good that running game was. Jalen Phillips commits a big penalty to extend the drive, and it was 11 runs, 1 pass. And I've seen some people criticizing that. Like, why did the Jets go to the pass sooner? They kept running because the run was working. I don't know how many people have forgot, but the Jets aren't exactly loaded with receiving threats. Because I don't care what strategy you use in the NFL. I don't care if you're run heavy, pass heavy, wildcat, wishbone, run and shoot. I don't care. As long as it moves the ball down the field and puts the football in the end zone, You do what you need to do to win games and score points. And then Braylon takes the handoff. He's heading to the goal line, dives across. I see that arm across the goal line, and I'm thinking touchdown, but oh no, out comes the football. Good hit by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Fumble on the 1 yard line. The first takeaway Miami has had all year. And on that drive, Darren Waller scores a touchdown. Right there, you had deep down, if you're a Jets fan, you knew this game was done. Done. D-O-N-E, dead on arrival. Done. And sure, the Jets get a field goal before halftime. They're down 7. But as badly as they were outplayed, all right, they're down 7. The game score-wise, it's not over. But, God, they got to play better. Let's see if we can make some halftime adjustments. And here we go. And Isaiah Williams, whoever the hell he is, he fumbles the opening kickoff, giving the ball right back to the Dolphins. If that wasn't the final nail in the coffin, I don't know what was. And then the fair catch on the 2 yard line, the Dolphins punt, and he fair catches it on the 2. I have never played organized football a day in my life, admittedly. All right. I've never played on an actual team outside of like little pickup games, things like that. But I know if I'm inside the 5 yard line, there's a punt coming. I know not to fair catch it. I know to let it bounce. An 8-year-old kid would know more than this absolute buffoon idiot. How much does this team miss Kenny Nwangwu? I know I talk about Nwangwu probably as much as anybody out there does. But remember, he got hurt game 1. Who comes in? Xavier Gibson. We know what happened. The costly fumble that ultimately cost the Jets the game. He gets cut. Isaiah Williams comes on. A fumble and a fair catch. When all things are equal, let's say this. When the Jets were at their best, this is going back many decades, every time the Jets have a good team, their special teams is always top level. Typically with Mike Westhoff coaching it. God bless him. But you always seem to have like a really good kicker or a really good returner. And the Jets have a really good kicker and a really good punter this year. And what does that say when maybe the best part of the team is your kicker and your punter? But this return game, oh my God. It used to be the Jets would lose a great returner every year because there wasn't room on the roster for him. Can we call Buffalo and get Brandon Codrington back? Oh, my God. I said Kenny Nwangwu is a very valuable Jet. If the last 4 weeks didn't convince you, I don't know what else will. And Aaron Glenn, hey, you know what? I'm not here to jump on the coach too hard. I expect mistakes early on from a first-time rookie head coach. I'm not going to be one of these just over-the-top, insane people who's screaming for him to get fired. I just can't take people like that seriously. I can't. I just cannot do that. But there will be mistakes, and mistakes deserve to get called out. Just like when he does something right, he should be praised. Try to keep it fair. But when asked about Isaiah Williams in the press conference, he said, this is a quote, "We brought him in to be our returner. He made 2 critical mistakes, and I understand that. But there are also mistakes he has to learn from. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to lose his job from that." Aaron, if that week wasn't enough to make him lose his job, then what would be enough to make him lose his job? When you have a dearth of talent, when you have a dearth of depth, we know the Jets have some top-level talent. We know that, all right? I refuse to believe that there's no talent on this. There is some top-level talent on this team. But what they don't have is depth. And when you lose somebody like Quinn Williams and then you lose Quincy Williams and you lose the backup to Quincy Williams, you're going to get exposed. That's just one example. And there's just certain positions where the Jets have no depth. And when you don't have a lot of depth, you pretty much need to play spot on and execute as well as you possibly can. You can't make these stupid, dumb mistakes. And every week, whether it's a turnover, a penalty, a drop pass, About the only thing we haven't seen get screwed up is like use of timeouts, things like that. That'll be coming any week now. Just watch. Oh, the anti-Glenn Brigade will be all out as soon as he misuses a timeout. You know it's going to come at some point because every coach does that. But right after that play, Darren Waller scores his second touchdown of the game, the SoundCloud rapper himself. And the injuries. Michael Carter goes out with a concussion, and oh my God, what happened to this guy? What happened to Michael Carter? This was a top 2, top 3 slot cornerback in football with Teron Johnson, maybe Kenny Moore, and he got a 3-year contract and well-deserved at the time. He's on the verge of becoming the next Muhammad Wilkerson. I'm not necessarily talking about in terms of attitude or Blake Cashman. He's like Blake Cashman and Muhammad Wilkerson. Was a great player, got paid, got hurt. He's got good character like Cashman, but but the timing of the injuries now that he's gotten paid, it is very Mo Wilk-esque, isn't it? And I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming from him. I really thought he was better than that. Last year, he was hurt pretty much the whole year, can barely play. He's been playing this year, but he has been a complete liability in pass coverage. That hurts. And because of Isaiah Williams' ineptitude, the Jets thinking on their feet. So I don't know whether I'm blaming Aaron Glenn or whether I'm blaming Chris Banjo. All right, that's enough of that. But to put Braylon Allen, who is a power runner, he's Jerome Bettis, is who he is. And they put him in as a returner. Why not Isaiah Davis and Arian Smith? Why are you putting Braylon Allen as a kick returner? Why? Why? And of course he gets hurt, strains his MCL. He's likely heading to IR. Because, God dang it, Allen was looking good. I've been screaming for him to get the ball more and more. And on the first drive, he was eating up chunks of yardage. But once he fumbled, it was taking the air out of a balloon factory. Nothing left. Nothing. Man. But they put him in a situation he should have never have been in. And that just bothers me. It really bothers me. And sure, Justin Fields, not long after that, scores a touchdown to bring the Jets within a touchdown. Great. It was a broken play. It was just pure athleticism that scored a touchdown. I really didn't have any excitement. Yeah, it was a great athletic play, but come on. Can you count on that being your offense? One or two other things. The other play I got to mention, of course, two other plays I got to mention. The Francisco Mauioga head hit. Oh, boy. Didn't you love seeing that? Tua going into the slide, and Malagoa, who granted has no business on the field. I don't want to attack him too hard. He should be starting anyway. It shouldn't have come to this. What else can they do? But you have to know you can't hit a quarterback in the head when he's sliding, Kiko. Come on. And then on that touchdown run by Devon Achane, some of the worst tackling you'll ever see. Some of the worst. He glides right past two Jet defenders in the process. Of course, Tony Adams was one of them. He's still bad. He should be playing two-hand touch football. That's what he was looking to do. I've seen corpses make better effort to make tackles. Game, set, match right there. All right, I'll try to calm down. See, this is why I don't record right after the games, guys. This is me. Well, not 48 hours removed as opposed to the usual 72 hours removed. But good news, Nick Folk MVP. Yeah, you know what? Garrett, Folk, McNamara, Quinnen, any one of the four, take your pick. Yeah, it is a pretty catchy banjo song. Yeah, some of the few royalty-free sounds that I could get my hands on. Tony Alexio, Steve Wilkes is responsible for the regression of Sauce, Michael Carter, Sherwood, and all the defense. I'm going to get the defense in just one moment because I want to give you some numbers on this defense. But I do want to spend a minute on the offense. I want to give some credit to a couple of players. Well, actually, first I want to take apart Justin Fields a little bit. When his opponents score 21 points or more, Justin Fields is 0-25. Say that again. When Justin Fields' opponents score 21 points or more, Justin Fields' teams are 0-25. He is the only winless quarterback out of 46 in the sample over 5 years with at least 10 starts. Man alive. 3 targets all game to wide receivers not named Garrett Wilson. Can you believe it? And only one was a catch. But on the other side, he threw a lot to Breece Hall. 5 catches on 6 targets. That was good. Mason Taylor, I thought, looked very good in this game. 5 catches on 7 targets, 65 yards. Very encouraging by what we're seeing from him. The tackles, very, very good game. Olu, I thought, had a very good bounce-back game. I was very encouraged by what I saw. 3rd highest pass block grade among all tackles. Not left tackles, offensive tackles in the game. That's good. Armand Membu, dominant. Looking great. It wasn't the sexy pick. Tyler Warren was, but I tell you what, it was the smart pick. So to me, this draft class does have some promise. And again, I don't want to kill a GM if a 6th-round pick doesn't work out, because how many 6th-round picks really work out? But you want to get at least 2 to 3 legit starters. And I think between Membu, between Mason Taylor, and I think Malachi Moore, you've got 3 right there. I really do. And if Arian Smith can turn into something, then you have to call that a successful draft class. I don't think that's really saying too much. All right, Tony, hang on. I'm gonna get to Brand. All right, Tony taking a shot at Brandon Stevens. I'm gonna get to that, and he's taking shots at Fields. All right, Tony, I'm just gonna come back about Justin Fields. What other quarterback were you signing? Who were you going to get? Daniel Jones had to get out of New York. Period. Sam Darnold was never coming back to New York. I just don't know who you wanted to go get. To me, I've said this is the analogy I've used. It was trying to get a quarterback this year was like shopping at the Goodwill store, and Justin Fields was about the best prize you could get at the Goodwill store. It was crap. You were just looking for the best crap you could get. That's about the only way I could possibly say it. But I got to spend some time on this defense, okay? Because that is what is really bothering me. I knew this defense was thin. There was never a question about that it was thin. Oh, I see the Yankees are up 2-0 already. Wow, okay, not wasting any time. But I never thought this defense, I knew it was thin. I never thought it would be this bad, this inept, and this disjointed. It's like Saleh, Wilkes, and Glenn all got together, created a defense, and it just can't be executed, especially not by these players. It's like you know what it's like. Let me give you an analogy. It's like they combined 3 ingredients that made no sense and somehow try to make it work. It's like combining mustard, hot sauce, and cheesecake. On their own, they might all be pretty good. You put them together, and gosh. And pretty much all that you get is, all you get is just, there it is, yeah, mustard, hot sauce, and cheesecake. It's just not a combination that works, okay? Let me give you some numbers. 39 missed tackles, 32nd in the league. They had 11 missed tackles against Miami alone. Oh, let me make sure I can get back in here. Oh, uh-oh. Hope everybody can still see me okay. All right, there we go. All right, 11 missed tackles against Miami alone. Isaiah Oliver leading with 3. They have a pressure rate as a team of 10.3%. On 1 of every 10 quarterback dropbacks, they are getting a pressure. That's 31st in the NFL. We're a long way away from the Joe Douglas built defensive line. I'd just like to point that out. Not a sack against Miami. Not even a hit. Not a single hit. Not even freaking a sack. You couldn't even get a hit on Tua. And I got to ask this question. I'll blame Wilkes and Glenn for this. Why the hell is Will McDonald dropping back into coverage on 3rd down? Who came up with that decision? Who decided Will McDonald is, no, we don't want him rushing the passer. Let's have him play back and try to watch a running back or a tight end. This is why we have Will McDonald on the team to basically play safety? What? Tommy DeVito would not have been better, Tony. Stop. No. The only thing I can think of with McDonald is that he had to drop back in coverage on third down because we don't have linebackers who can cover, especially with Quincy Williams out. But here's what's insane. Michael Clemens was actually okay in this game. He was actually okay, which is a horrifying thought. And it's safety. Like I said, I never want to see Tony Adams again, ever. Why was he back in the lineup? Tell me how Tony Adams is better in any way, shape, or form. How is he better than Malachi Moore? How? I can't figure it out. And Brandon Stevens, I'll tell you what, he was actually better in this game. Allowed 1 catch for 2 yards on 2 targets, had 7 tackles, 4 run stops. And over the last 2 weeks has 14 tackles and only 1 missed tackle. I can't believe I'm saying this, but could Michael Clemens and Brandon Stevens actually be playing better football? Are they capable of actually getting better? Is it possible? I'm not saying I'm buying in, but I am saying they were better this week. And in the safety, Andre Sisco, oh my God, was I off on him? I was happy when the Jets signed him. Now I'm relieved it was only a 1-year contract. 4 catches allowed on 5 targets for 62 yards. Ugh. And as far as the intangibles go in this game, 5 pre-snap penalties. They'll tell you the Jets had 13 penalties. No. They had 15 penalties. 2 of the penalties were declined. And of those penalties, 9 of them were on offense. Over 100 yards worth of penalties. Miami got 6 penalties, but they should have had twice that many. Whether it was Joe Tippmann getting his helmet ripped off, whether it was Justin Fields getting hit 5 yards out of bounds, Garrett Wilson getting that touchdown stolen from him for that bogus OPI penalty, Jeremy Rucker getting jumped on by a Dolphins player when he was already on the ground. But again, turnovers. Jets had 3, Miami had none. The stat has been going around a ton. I'll share it with you again. The Jets are the 5th team in the last 90 years to be 0-4 with no takeaways. 1935 we're going back to here, guys. 1935. And here are the fumble numbers. The Jets have fumbled the football 8 times this year and lost 6. The Jets have forced 5 fumbles this year and recovered 0. You know who I feel? You know who I really feel for in this spot, guys? You know who I feel bad for? Other than ourselves. I feel bad for Garrett, Quinnen, because they play their ass off, and Thomas Hennessy. Thomas Hennessy. That's right. The long snapper. He's been here since 2017. He should be in the Ring of Honor the second he retires for putting up with this much crap. He hasn't seen a winning season in 9 years. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That'll be 9. 9 years of pure crap. Not even having a winning season. How much more can Thomas Hennessy take? No wonder his last name is Hennessy. He drinks about a gallon playing for this team. Wilkes will give us the number 1 draft pick. Look, to me, Steve Wilkes is going to be here through the rest of the season, but I would not be surprised if this keeps up in the next week to 2 weeks. Aaron Glenn, he's going to have to take away play calling duties because this ain't working. It's almost like the defense never had a training camp and they got to go back to work from scratch. That's how bad it's been. You can't get pressure. You can barely cover. You draw penalties and you don't take the ball away. And the tackling stinks. That defense is great. It's great. It's great. It's just great, isn't it? All right. Let's get into the snap counts on this game. All right. So let's roll through those. 63 snaps on offense in this game. Justin Fields played all 63. By the way, it's 6 snaps down from last week when they had 69. There's that number again. Fantastic number. Breece Hall had 40 snaps, up 2 from last week. Isaiah Davis went up to 21, up 12 snaps. That was necessitated by Braylon Allen going out, leaving the game after only 6 offensive snaps, which really sucks because you could tell they were trying to get him more involved in this game, and it was working. Andrew Beck had only 6 snaps as well after he didn't even play last week at all. Wide receiver, Garrett Wilson played nearly the whole game, played 62 snaps, down 7. Josh Reynolds played 42 after being out the last couple of weeks. Arian Smith went way down from 54 snaps down to 29, was not even targeted in this game. I mean, did anybody notice Arian Smith on the field? Because I didn't. Alan Lazard, 27 snaps, up 10. Isaiah, whose ass should be cut today, Williams, had 1 snap. Tyler Johnson was deactivated after starting last week. It's going to be a constant revolving door at wide receiver all year. That's just the way it's going to be behind Garrett. Tight end, hey, this is good. Mason Taylor, 51 snaps, same as last week. Jeremy Ruckert, 25, a little bit less than last week. And Stone Smart gets his first snap, 1 whole snap. Congratulations on popping your Jets cherry, Stone. Offensive line, there was one play where Josh Myers was in the game. I think this was the final play of the game. He played every snap. Outside of that, it was just pretty much everybody else and their brother for a miracle play. Didn't work out. So outside of that, you've got Olu, John Simpson, Joe Timmon, and Armand Membu playing 62. Max Mitchell came in for 8 snaps as an additional offensive lineman. So that's what we're looking at with the offense. On defense, well, hey, defense went down from 72 snaps to 58. I guess in a way that's encouraging. And no defensive edge had more snaps than the immortal Michael Clemens. Doesn't it just make you all warm and happy inside? Like I said, he did play better, but we know that can't keep up. 41 snaps. When he's playing 2/3 of your snaps, you know you're in trouble. Bray McGregor played 26 snaps. He was absolutely useless in this game. Will McDonald played 31, down 16 from last week. My God, this coaching staff hates him. I can't draw any other conclusion. They hate him. Tyler Barron, another useless player. 18 snaps, down 7. Jermaine Johnson was out. We'll get into him in a few minutes. Defensive tackle Quinnen played 45 snaps. Harrison Phillips, 36. Juwan Briggs, 21. Jay Tafele, who was just... I do not need to say Jay Tafele anymore. Can we play Leonard Taylor, please? I know Taylor's got more explosiveness and he's a better playmaker than Tafele is. Yeah, Tony knows what's up. Unleash LT, 3 and a sack. I agree. But they chose to deactivate Leonard Taylor for reasons that I cannot figure out to save my life. I'll tell you what, you better play him this week because you're going to need a pass rush. Something resembling a pass rush against Dak Prescott. We go to linebacker. Jamian Sherwood played the whole game, all 58 snaps. Kiko Malagoa, 52 snaps, up from 14 last week. And Cam Jones, the special teamer who came over from Kansas City, got in on 1 snap. So we see again and again the Jets constantly playing a 4-2-5. They really never play a third linebacker, which makes sense when you have practically no depth to use at linebacker. And then at cornerback, both Brandon Stevens and Sauce Gardner played 58 snaps the whole game. Isaiah Oliver came in, played 42 snaps, up 37 from last week. Basically, he replaced Michael Carter, who played only 18 snaps. And I wanted to point out, A.Z. Thomas did not see the field this week. 0 snaps. 0. This doesn't make sense. And at safety, Andre Cisco and Tony Adams, oh my God. Ugh. Both played 58 snaps. Malachi Moore got cut from 72 snaps all the way down to 2. What is this coaching staff doing? Play the kids. We don't want to see Tony Adams ever again. Brandon Stevens, again, he's played a little bit better as of late. I don't want to kill him. But are you going to tell me that? Why can't we put Brandon Stevens on the inside and A.Z. Thomas outside? Why can't we do that? Because what we're doing right now, it ain't working. Like I said, mustard, cheesecake, and hot sauce. That's what we're looking at with this defense. All right, let's get a little bit of news here real quick. As far as the injuries go, the latest updates we have: Braylon Allen. Glenn described it as a pretty serious injury. He's going for a second opinion. Look, I expect him to go on IR and then come back shortly after that. It's just not a situation where you're going to sign anybody. And somebody actually asked me online earlier today, should the Jets bring back Donovan Edwards? He's on the Washington practice squad right now. The problem is if you do that, you have to sign him to the 53-man roster, and then you have to risk cutting somebody. And I don't think this is an injury where you're going to risk cutting a player just to bring on, a backup running back. It doesn't make much sense to me to do that. Jermaine Johnson, day to day. This is good news. He had been week to week. And like I've said, they need him in the worst way because I think this coaching staff loves Jermaine. They want to play him. They love that he's a good two-way defensive lineman. And the Jets need that. They need it terribly. Again, when Will McDonald is playing half the snaps and Michael Clemens is playing 2/3, that is malpractice. And right now, I'm blaming Wilkes and Glenn for that. They both deserve blame. Michael Carter II out for Sunday. Like I said, right now I'm considering him a blend of Muhammad Wilkerson and Blake Cashman. He's become injury prone, and he became injury prone once he started getting paid. And it stinks because he had such talent and he was looking like he was going to be such a good player. One of the best late round picks we ever had. Well, for 2 years, it worked out really well. But the good news is Jarvis Brownlee could step in. He practiced in full today. Isaiah Oliver, like I said, 3 missed tackles, was not good on Monday. I wish Quantez Siggers would get something of a chance on defense. I really do. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would like to see it. But yeah, and like I said, A.Z. Thomas benched on Monday. It makes no sense to sit him down. He did not do a thing wrong. He did not do a thing to earn that benching. Nothing whatsoever. I mean, at least with the offense, I could see how they're dividing the playing time up the way they are. I have some very serious questions on every level of the defense right now. Linebacker, I'll push that. I'll give linebacker a pass because what can you do when you have what you have? But at defensive end, cornerback, and safety, I got a lot of questions, and defensive tackle this week, now that you're playing Jay Tufele and benching Leonard Taylor. There are so many things the Jets could do better on defense. So many things. And playing the best personnel, that'd be a pretty damn good start. Guys, I didn't think I would do this. It is October 1st, the year of our Lord 2025. I didn't want to do it this early, but it became a bit of a tradition. No, I'm not talking about the trivia. I'm not talking about the wheel. I think I got to bust it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Tankathon! Hey, Jets Mess, how you doing? That's right. We are doing our first Tankathon check of the year because why not? We sure as hell ain't going to be checking on any playoff standings or playoff scenarios. Now, I'm not going to start breaking down prospects already, although I think I will start. I may start reading some scouting reports and watching some more video. But let's just take a look at where we are here. Top 10. Well, the Jets are number 2. If the season ends today, the Jets would have the number 2 pick. They're one of 3 teams with an 0-4 record. And remember, if you have the same record, the tiebreaker is easiest strength of schedule. And remember, the Jets got a lot of crappy teams coming up. You look at this. You look at the teams in the top 8. The Jets play New Orleans. They play Cleveland. They play Miami again. They play Carolina. And they play Baltimore, although I don't think Baltimore is going to stay in the top 10 for all that much longer. Nor do I think Houston's going to be in the top 10 all that much longer. Giants, who knows? But right now, New Orleans has had a very, very easy strength of schedule. The Jets not far behind, but keep in mind, Buffalo was on their schedule. That kind of raises that up a little bit. And with some of the lousy teams they got coming up this year, throw in or teams that are not expected to do all that well. But, you throw in a Jacksonville, a team like that, that can help cut it down as well. So yeah, it hurts to break out the Tankathon standings already, but you know what? They have left us with no choice. I had to do it. I didn't want to do it. I had to do it. October 1st is draft talk time. I just hope to get to Halloween. It used to be get to Thanksgiving. Then it became, let's just get to Halloween. And then it became, let's just get to Columbus Day. And now here it is, October 1st, and we can't even get there. But actually, you know what? When's the Canadian Thanksgiving is October 13th. Okay. Yeah, so Canadian Thanksgiving is another 2 weeks away almost. All right. I was like, maybe we could get to Canadian Thanksgiving, but we couldn't even get to that either, could we? And as always, Tony wants to trade down. No. We ain't trading down. We need a quarterback. We're drafting a quarterback. We ain't trading down. No chance. No. I'm not trading down, Tony. Not this year. You look at the quarterback in Indiana, he's looking very good, looking like a good match for Tanner Engstrand. There is no shot I'm trading down right now. When you need a quarterback, you get the best pick you can get, especially if you believe in a quarterback that much, if you do. Now, look at some of the mock drafts. I saw the Jets taking a safety. I mean, what? A safety? Number 2 overall? Really? A safety? Oh, okay. And I don't want to get into holes that this team has to fill. It's way, way, way too soon to do that. All right. But we're learning already. You're just looking for the best players you can get and building up the best roster you can. But if you have a high enough pick and you see a quarterback you like enough, you get him. Thomas and Moore are upgrades. Yeah, I mean, again, Stevens has played better, but I have no time for Tony Adams. And at this rate, Andre Cisco, my patience is wearing thin with him too. But again, I think a lot of it is scheme also. I think it's that the players are not the right players for the defense that they want to play. You have players who are more suited to play a Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich style of defense. Wilkes, Glenn are a little bit different in their man-to-man versus zone philosophy. I still think they're trying to figure this defense out. I'm aggravated they're still trying to figure this defense out. And I'm annoyed that Aaron Glenn hired a defensive coordinator who apparently has a different philosophy than he does. We talk about synergy, owner, GM, head coach. How about head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator? I'd say that's a good place where you want to have some freaking synergy, isn't it? I just don't know what to. It is a broken organization still. And I still don't see a difference. Still don't see a difference. It's just the new version of the same old Jets is what it is. Now, Adam Gase, when he was the head coach. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it. I guess I brought out a name I shouldn't have said. But anyway, referring to Adam. Anyway, yeah, so Adam Gase started 0-4. He got his 5th win in that infamous game against Dallas at MetLife Stadium. Sam Darnold throwing the long bomb to Robbie Anderson, the chosen one. Yes, the chosen one. Dallas almost came back, though. Almost. Just they couldn't recover the onside kick. But you know the stadium. You know the deal. The stadium's going to be at least 40,000 Cowboy fans. There's no question that Dallas is going to take over that stadium. There's no doubt. 3rd time. Yeah, think about it. Pittsburgh, national fan base. Buffalo, loyal fan base close by. Dallas, they're next. I'm looking forward to the Carolina game. At least we know that's one fan base that won't take over MetLife. How many quarterbacks will be in the top 10 picks? Put it this way. If they're saying it right now, I'm just giving you an example, Tom. If they're saying 2, that's 4. Because every year there will be at least one quarterback, maybe 2, that jump up once they have their pro day and once you have the combine. Every year that will happen. Who saw Tyler Shug getting drafted as high as he did? I know it wasn't top 10, but you get my point. So, well, we have months. We have 6 months before we get into that. But there will be plenty of time. So and the 2026 draft will be in Pittsburgh, April 23rd through the 25th. Oh God, it's basically 7 months away. Yeah, I guess everybody will probably be on the bridge hanging out. That should be fun. That should be good. But oh man. I really don't. I got to tell you this. I do my picks every week on my video. I do my confidence picks. I haven't picked the Jets one time this year, and I don't know when I'm going to do it. In the knockout pool in 2 weeks, I may have to take Denver for that game in England. Why wouldn't I? And it hurts me to do it. It hurts my soul. I got to do what I got to do. All right, guys. Well, speaking of the Cowboys, let's no, I'm not going to do the trivia yet. Let me pull the game preview up. There we go. All right, Week 5 preview. The New York Jets against them Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. I'm going to take on the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Dallas Cowboys are going to come in like only the Dallas Cowboys know how to do. But I'm proud to be the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and Dallas Cowboys are proud to have me as their owner too. All right, so 5 things to know about the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, wow. He has thrown for 1,119 yards in 4 games. That's a league high. He's also got the most completed passes as well. And if you look at quarterback rating, a QBR, where you can be graded on a scale of 1 to 100, he's fourth. Only ahead of him, Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, through 4 games, the Cowboys, if you want to find an issue with that offense, because that offense is dynamite, but I'll give you one issue. It's third downs. Through 4 games, the Cowboys have converted only 42% of their third down tries. They are 20 out of 47 on third down. The Jets have got to create some third and longs. They've got to do that. Number 3, you can throw on the Cowboys. Their defense is allowing a league worst 8.8 yards per pass attempt. And then on a completed pass, they're allowing 12 yards allowed per completion. That's 31st in the league. Only team worse than that is Washington. So this is a day for Garrett Wilson, for Mason Taylor to go off. Brees out of the backfield. Let's see him line up as a wide receiver one time. How about that? I would like to say Arian Smith, but I mean, I'm still waiting for him to get a chance. Maybe even Josh Reynolds or Alan Lazard could do something constructive for a change. Number 4, the Cowboys' defensive line is an absolute flux. First of all, here's all you need to know. Solomon Thomas is on that team. So right there, you know you have problems. James Houston has 2 sacks. No other Cowboy has more than 1. And Jadeveon Clowney, he's still around. He's actually getting more playing time at the expense of Sam Williams, who has been incredibly poor against both the pass and the running game. And then number 5, I was tempted to talk about the kicker, but I'm not going to talk about the kicker. We all know Brandon Aubrey is fantastic. I actually want to tell you about Aaron Whitecotton. That's right, our old defensive line coach, who's featured quite a bit on One Jets Driving on the Flight series. He's over in Dallas now, and he was always very involved. The Jets thought very, very highly of him. And he was not just involved with the defensive line, even though his official title was a defensive line coach. No, he was an administrator. He was involved in a little bit more than that. He was almost like the pseudo defensive coordinator after Jeff Ulbrich got promoted. He knows our personnel in depth. He knows the Jets. He may not know Aaron Glenn as a head coach, but he knows what to do against Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and so on. So the fact that Aaron Whitecotton is in that room, this is the Aaron Whitecotton revenge game and the Brian Schottenheimer revenge game. It's not the players this week, it's the coaches. Because every week, let's think about it. Every damn week, there's somebody who's been wronged by the Jets. Whether it's that just whiny baby Baker Mayfield, good a quarterback as he is, he doesn't stop whining like a baby, like a little school kid. He still talks about the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, need I say more? As I squash that one. Every week, there's some sort of revenge or it's a divisional opponent. Every week, it seems to be personal against the Jets, doesn't it? So this week, it's the Brian Schottenheimer, Aaron Whitecotton game. So mark that. That should be fun. Oh, and if you're excited, the Jets are wearing the blacks this week. Okay, wonderful. Cool. Like I said, I don't care how green they make the damn stadium. I don't care if they wear green pants, white pants, camouflage pants, black pants, or no pants. It doesn't matter. They still stink. Stink. And it's time for this team to start playing like professionals. Like a team that actually knows how to win games. A team that doesn't shoot himself in the head, as Breece Hall referred to so eloquently after Monday's game. Because it's getting to the point, I mean, it is hard to watch these games. It is hard. It is freaking hard. And I know that you feel it too. If you're a Jets fan, I know you feel exactly what I'm saying right now. You can feel my words. I feel your pain all the way over here in North Carolina. But I'm sick and tired of having like a Jets plate on my car or a Jets shirt on or whatever the case may be or a Jets hat and people just shaking their heads at me. Maybe I'm asking for it. I know. But there are people out there like where I live who they think they're the only Jet fan in the whole damn state where they live. I guess if anything, I want to show them now you're not alone. There's a number of ways you can be ostracized in this country with what you like, what you believe in, that kind of thing. And sports are no different. So then why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep rooting? Why do I keep doing these shows? Why do I keep doing these videos? Why do I keep buying merchandise? Why do I make travel plans to go to Green Bay to watch a preseason game? Why do I do that? Tony, I don't believe that yet. No, it's unproven. No. All right. I completely disagree. Tanner Engstrand is a better offensive coordinator than Nathaniel Hackett or Todd Downing. Okay? If you want to tell me that Steve Wilkes is worse than Jeff Ulbrich, fine, no problem. But no, I'm not agreeing with that yet. Not that yet. I like everyone. Hey, I got 2 words for you, Tony. 2 words. Keith Carter. Remember Keith Carter? Remember him? I say the offensive line looks a hell of a lot better than they did last year, so credit to Steve Hayden. I think that's a hire that worked out. The only clear regression I see is defensive coordinator. But offense, I think it's actually better. But why do we keep doing this? Because we hope that the loyalty will one day be repaid, that it will someday be worth it. At the end of the day, we know sports are sports. There are more important things in the world. But it's just with the blind hope and the blind faith that it will pay off one day. Thank you for your insight. You're welcome. And thank you for your opinions, man. I appreciate them. We don't always agree on them, and that's okay. I just speak for myself. I just try to make sure I have a reason. I don't want to disagree with you just to disagree. That's all. And I know you don't. I don't think you do either. You wouldn't just say that just to say it. So, but yeah, AG. Hey, I expected growing pains, and the pains have been. It's been like a tooth extraction without the gas, is what it's been. Ibuprofen ain't taking this shit away. No. But again, let's see how this year evolves. This year to me was about evaluation, figuring who belongs here and who doesn't. But to me, I have no interest in getting rid of a coach until this first-time coach, until 2 years have passed. I don't want to. I'm not going to do it. Now, if during the offseason Andy Reid becomes available, we could have a conversation. John Harbaugh, I could talk about it. Don't think that's happening. Don't think so. Damn, I want this to work out. I really do. But it starts with getting a quarterback, which, let's be honest, the Jets don't have right now. The Jets have a great athlete playing quarterback. That's what they have. But they don't have a great quarterback. So if next year you were able to draft one and develop him over the course of the year, then you can have a little bit more hope. But this is about evaluation. I hope they're very active at the trade deadline. I hope they get rid of, players who you otherwise would lose for nothing, or for like a 5th, 6th round comp pick. Breece Hall, I'm looking at you. Quincy Williams, I'm looking at you too. Contracts are both up. Even not that I would want to trade him on the offensive line like a John Simpson. I wouldn't want to, but if you could get something like a day 2 pick back, if you can, I'm thinking about it. Because I'm sorry, I'm not interested in stockpiling all these 7th round picks. Because what do you really do with a 7th round pick? If you get to a 4th round pick, you're getting my attention. If you're getting a day 2 pick, you're really getting my attention. If you're trading Breece Hall, a running back at the end of his contract, at this point, I don't know. If you're getting even a 4th round pick, then I'm happy. I'm happy with that. And it'd be a shame to lose him. But you know what? It's better than losing him for nothing. We have to get assets. And I have no interest in doing that by trading our first pick down, because we need a quarterback. That's pretty much where my opinion is. Head coach needs to address his failures, and the coaching staff will. Because as of right now, yes, an absolute failure. As of right now, yes. I do believe he wants to. He would turn. I think Aaron Glenn would turn over about 7-8 players on this defense if he could. I really think that. All right, guys. Tim, let's go ahead and I think it is about that time. So every week, you know what happens. I head down into the labyrinth of Jets knowledge. I dust off the books. I dust off the Encyclopedia Britannica. I head into the Jets dark web. And I, Watsu K99, challenge you, the most loyal fans of the most loyal fan base in the NFL. Just how much do you know about your New York Jets? So if you're ready, let's play Jets Trivia. Yeah, that kind of works. Okay. All right, guys. So you know the deal. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock on my phone, and we will see how it goes. I'll put the question on the screen. Throw your answers right down there in the comments, and let's see how we do. I'm going to make a quick check here. Yeah, let's just do a quick check. By the way, guys, appreciate you hanging out. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do that. Yeah, let's just. Okay, all right. So yeah, we got a few there, but we're still a few thumbs ups away. So need a little bit more. All right, here is tonight's trivia question, and of course, it is Jets versus Cowboys related. And so tonight's question is going to go like this. The first Jets victory over Dallas ever was in 1990. That's right. The Jets never beat the Cowboys till 1990. They beat Dallas 24-9. Named the two Jets who intercepted Troy Aikman. This was Troy Aikman's rookie year, which was a complete washout of a season. And the Jets picked him off twice. Named the two Jets who did it. That tastes good. Let's see real quick. Boston tied it. So 2-2. All right. So Yankees, Red Sox 2-2 heading to the fourth inning. Chris the pride of Kenosha, Wisconsin. The two best things to ever come out of Kenosha are Frank Steiner and Chris Bradigan. At least he's there now. He says James Hasty. Is it James Hasty? Afraid not James Hasty. What is a pickoff? So that is when the pitcher has the baseball. There's a runner on first base. He's leaning out a little too far. The pitcher throws it back to first base, and the runner gets tagged. Or it can happen on second base or third base too. I was going to say James Hasty. No, you're in the right ballpark though, for sure. Yeah, I know. The real point of this question was to prove that, yes, the Jets used to actually intercept other teams. Grandizer says McMillan, a safety. Eric McMillan. Is Eric McMillan correct? It sure is. Eric McMillan had an interception that day. That's right. Chris polishes it off. All right, so that is one. Who's the other one? As we have about 3 minutes to go on the clock here. All right. So Grandizer and Chris get Eric McMillan. I see we got a few other people hanging out in the chat. Just throw out like a 1990s defensive player for the Jets. You never know. It's a player that you probably know. If you're a Jets fan that goes back, if you were watching the team at that time, you know this player. Chris Bradigan goes with Washington. Is that which Washington? Is this Yeah, Chris, help me out there. Which player are you referring to here? I have an idea who you might be referring to, but I just want to make sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's Eric with a K, but I won't hold that against you, Grandizer. Bradigan, the safety, Washington. Well, regardless, I can tell you. Now, it's not Washington, and it's not a safety. So this player does not play safety. Chris Bradigan says James. Are you talking about if you're referring to James Hasty? He was mentioned a couple of times. Yeah. And then Grandizer comes in with Kyle Clifton. How about Kyle Clifton? That's right. You got it. Eric McMillan and Kyle Clifton are the correct answers. The chat gets this one in a little bit over 3 minutes. So, chat, what can I say? Fantastic job. This is a win. And considering we really don't know what the hell a win feels like, God dang it, let's celebrate it in trivia. Let's go. We're going to win this Sunday. All right, I'll stop there. That's right. It was from a linebacker, Kyle Clifton, whose number 59 has not been given out since he left the Jets, which is very, very strange. Either nobody wants it or it's just being held out, yet it is the weirdest thing with that number. I don't get it, but no one's worn that number in like 30 plus years. You really did it. You got it, man. You did. You really did it. So good job, buddy. Good job. All right, guys. So I'll tell you what's coming up. So yeah, Kyle Clifton, all-time tackle leader for the Jets. Yeah, so we had to pick that day. So here's what's coming up. Of course, Thursday night I will be doing the confidence picks video. So we've gone, I believe, we went 11-4 last week, so we did really, really well. And my ranking is climbing by the week, so I'm feeling good about that. I'll go ahead and, guys, just because you tuned in, I'm going to go ahead and give you my survivor pick right now. I'm picking the Rams over the 49ers. Short week, Niners are beat to shreds. The offensive line's beat up, and that Rams defense sacks quarterbacks like crazy. Second most sacks in the league. So, yeah, I'm going with the Rams. That's going to be my nine. I was thinking about Detroit. I was thinking about Arizona, but I'm going Rams. So let's see what happens. So I'll be doing my confidence picks. I'll be doing that video Thursday night. Watch for that. And, of course, by Friday night, definitely by Saturday morning at the absolute latest, you'll have both the Jets versus Cowboys preview video and the 5 bowl predictions and score prediction video for Jets Cowboys as well. And also by the week, definitely by the weekend, by Sunday, I'm going to try to get it up maybe even earlier. Maybe Friday I'll try to do it. I'm going to record some NHL preview videos. So if you're a hockey fan, check those out. I'll do one for the Rangers, one for the Devils, and one for the Islanders. So if you root for a New York Metropolitan team, I got you covered here. All right. I partied a lot since 1990, so my memory sucks. But you remember the pain, Chris. The pain never goes away. No matter how much morphine you get, it does not go in. Oh, Chris is a Blackhawks fan. I will say this. Jim Cornelison is the best freaking national anthem singer in the world. He's the best. He is the best. Yeah. Just the one that he did. What was that? Was that the one at Soldier Field, I believe? Was that one that he did? I think it was like opening week or something. Was that the event? I think that was it. But yeah, that last anthem he did on the national broadcast was just insane. Yeah. There's nobody better. That was one of the best things about living in Chicago and watching Blackhawk games was watching Jim Cornelison do the anthem. And I've been in the United Center a couple times when he performed it. I mean, him and John Brancy, who does some of the Ranger games, they're so good. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I don't do quite as much of the other sports because I just look at what gets the attention. But you know, I was just too broken to do Mets content. I just couldn't. I knew it was done. I just had nothing to say about the Mets. There was just nothing to say. I'm going to try to do a little more basketball and hockey. You know, if there's something that moves me, I'll talk about it. It's just, I don't know. I can't do a recap video for every single game. I just don't have that in me, but I will try to find something to do kind of regularly so that there's more than just the weekly football stuff. So yes, it was in Wrigley. Yes, it was in Wrigley. Yes, Wrigley was always a good spot. All right. Yeah, the game was in Soldier Field. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I am going to get out of here. I'm going to go make myself a nice steak sandwich. I got a little sirloin that I've been salting up. Got some pickled onions and some mushrooms, a little horseradish I'm going to put on there, and put that little ciabatta bread. And I guess, I didn't want to watch baseball, but I'll probably wind up watching Yankees Red Sox. God knows I'm not watching Dodgers Reds because the Reds have no business being in the baseball playoffs. Zero. Anyway, no, not steakums. I mean, like an actual sirloin. I got a nice deal on a couple of sirloin steaks. It was like, I got 2.5 pounds of sirloin, 3 sirloin steaks, 2.5 pounds for about $20. So pretty good deal. Basically, right around $6.50 a steak. So pretty good deal considering what you pay for a restaurant. I couldn't have gotten all 3 steaks for $20 if I tried. Yep, go Jets is right. Go Jets is right. Long way to go. Better days are ahead. I just don't know how many of us will be alive when the better days hit. All right, in all seriousness, guys, thank you again for joining me. You guys rock. I will see you here, right back here, with more content from you know where. Please like and subscribe. The Wicker Chair. Have a good night, everybody.